Hello everyone and welcome back to your YouTube channel. And welcome to this amazing video today. As you must be aware, I am creating this video to this introduction of power system analysis. And today we have this video that is a numerical example, a practical example of one of the most interesting problems of economic operation of electrical power systems. As you must be aware, in the past we calculate the power flow. The power flow is basically the solution of the power balance equation, and what we want to know is the state of the system under some considerations like loads, generation, and demand. However, when we are working in real power system, the power flow is extended to the next level, where some economical considerations are included, like the cost of generation, but also some operating limits, real operating limits, are included in the solution. When we have these kind of problems that combine economic cost and at the same time some constraint related to operating limits, well, we need to apply what we call the optimal power flow. And today, the subject is the optimal power flow formulation. Today, we are not planning to solve the problem. What we want to do is to create equations that describe the problem, create equations that formulate the problem in a optimization way, and just like that, okay? Let's start with this problem. Consider a simple power system. As you can see over here, there are two generators, one connected to the bus bar number 1, one connected to the bus bar number 2. There are two loads and one transmission line described by an admittance. We know here some data. For instance, we know that the phase angle of the voltage at bus bar number 1 is 0. We know the power demand here at the bus bar number 1, as you can see over here, is 0.3 and 3.0 the active power, and also we know the reactive power. And also it's not depicted here, but also we know the active and reactive power at the bus bar number 2. Let me find the numbers and I will show you. These are PL at the bus bar number 2 is equal to 2.0, and the reactive power at the bus bar number 2 is 0.2 per unit. Okay, perfect. Now we know the admittance matrix is a 2x2 equation. It's a 2x2 matrix, sorry. And if you need to know how to create the admittance matrix, please go to my YouTube channel. There are a couple videos over there that I show you how to create the admittance matrix. And here we have two functions. Those two functions are created to describe the cost of generation. What I'm telling you is that those costs are represented as second order polynomial. You can see over here, this is the cost for the generator number 1, and this is the cost of the generator number 2. And as usual, in this kind of problems, there are some constraints. For instance, the voltage in bus bar number 1 and 2, they must be inside the limits, 0.95 and 1.05. Also, there are some limits related to the power production of the generators. For instance, the generator 1, the power must be between 0.5 per unit until 4 per unit. And for the generator number 2, you can see over here, the active power must be between 0.5 and 0.35, okay? There is a typo over here. Let me remove here from the middle. Yes, this is not supposed to be here. And then we have reactive power generation limits. You can see between minus 0.5 and 0.5, and between 0.6 negative to 0.6. Also, the power flow through the transmission line, there is a limit over there, and the power transfer must go between 3 and 3 megawatts in one direction and the other direction. Now, the interesting question here is to formulate the problem of optimal power flow, but in this case, what we want to do is minimize the cost, minimize the total system cost. And of course, we need to fulfill those constraints over there. And let's start the solution, okay? The solution is very, but extremely simple, okay? What we need to know is that the optimal power flow must be presented in a set of variables. What I'm telling you is that the optimal power flow, we usually use 4 sets of variables. One set that represent the state variables, one set that represent the control variables, one set that represent the demand, and one set that represent the output variables. That is the classical way to represent the optimization problem. And let's start to define some of those variables. The state variable here is only one, because the variable that we need to know in order to solve this problem is the voltage, the phase angle of the voltage at bus bar number 2. The control variables, well, of course, we can control the voltage magnitudes if we constrain and we apply active power and reactive power. For that reason, the two important control variables here, magnitude voltage bus bar 1, magnitude voltage bus bar number 2, and the generation at the bus bar number 2. Then we can represent the demand variables, because we have a load number 1 and we have a load number 2. You can see here that the vector has 4 components: active and reactive power at bus bar number 1, active and reactive power at bus bar number 2. And finally, we have the output variables. And the output variables, as you can see over here, is what we want to get the power that is created at the generator number 1, the reactive power at generator 1 and 2, and the power flow through the transmission line 1, 2. Let's start to formulate the problem. To be honest, the first step is to formulate the constraints. And formulating the constraints, they are extremely simple. Because as you can see over here, the voltage at bus bar number 1 must be between 1.05 and 0.95. But we need to express that like 2 inequality constraints. The voltage must be below 1.05 and the voltage must be above 0.95. But in order to keep all the inequality constraints in below that, well, we need to do minus U1 lower than 0.95. That applies for the other constraints. For the voltage at bus bar number 2, for the active power generation, for the reactive power generation, and also for the case of the power transfer, okay? Now we need to define the cost function. The cost function is the sum of the cost of producing power at generator number 1 and generator number 2. And from the statement, we know the value of the cost function for the generator 1 and the generator number 2. And here what we are doing is representing the cost function in terms of the variables previously defined, output variables and control variables. Now is the most exciting step, because right now what we need to do is start to write the equality constraints. And probably the equality constraints, they are more complicated for any one of you. However, if you believe that the quality constraints are very complex to you, I highly invite you that you go and watch the video about the power balance equations. There is a video in my YouTube channel where I formulated the power balance equation for a very simple system, and from there you can understand how to solve it. As I always say, in a power flow, optimal power flow or power flow, there are at least two known variables and two unknown variables. And what we want to do is write equations that allow to find the unknown variables based on the known variables. And those equations receive the name power balance equation. One equation for the active power, one equation for the reactive power for every and single one of the bus bars. And let's start the formulation, okay? What I will do is first, I will write the equation. I will write the equation for the power balance at the bus bar number 1. This is the general equation. When we use this general equation for the case of the bus bar number 1, and we expand this equation. From there, what we need to do is, you know that this G11 is 0, this G12 is 0, and also the angle delta 1 is 0. For that reason, the equation is simplified, and we obtain the active power generation at the bus bar number 1. Then, let's do the same for the reactive power balance. You know the equation. The equation is written over here. We know that this is the bus bar number 1. We have two bus bars. And what we do is just basically expand that equation. When you expand the equation, you get this. And from there, you must remember G12 is 0. The angle delta 1 is 0. The equation is simplified. And from there, we obtain an equation that says that the reactive power at the generator number 1 must follow this equation number 4. Similar approach can be used for the active power at the bus bar number 2, sorry. And when you get the power balance at the bus bar number 2, you obtain the equation 5. And when you do the same for the reactive power at bus bar number 2, you obtain the equation number 6. And when you have the equation 3, 4, 5, and 6, those equations represent the active power balance, okay? And what is the next step? Well, the next step is that we want to put together all those equations. And to put together all those equations, what we need to do is start to combine, okay? Combining the equation 3 to 6, we have here 4 equations that they are coming from the power balance equations. And we have one more additional equation that is the power flow between the transmission on the transmission line 1 to 2. This equation is very simple. You can deduce that equation based on the circuit analysis that I present on my video related to power flow, okay? Now we substitute the state variable, the control variables, the demand variable, or the output variables, and we obtain the set. You can see over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 equations, and those equations represent the equality constraint. And finally, to conclude this problem, we have here the final solution. Because using those equations over here, if we solve those equations over here, we solve the problem of the optimal power flow. The problem of the optimal power flow is basically minimizing the total cost subject to inequality constraints and equality constraints. All those equations must be solved at the same time simultaneously using any optimization algorithm, and from there we will obtain the solution. And the solution will be basically the calculation of the numerical result of the unknown variables. I hope you enjoyed this video because this is the end. And in this video, I show you how to formulate the optimal power flow problem. And to summarize, in order to formulate the optimization problem of the optimal power flow, what we need to do is basically define the variables: the state variable, the control variable, the demand variables, and the output variables. Then we formulate the objective function, and in this problem, the objective function was a cost optimization. The inequality constraints, they are coming basically from operating limits, and the equality constraints, they are coming from the power balance equation. And finally, when we have all those equations together, we formulated the optimal power flow problem in a form of optimization. Well, this is the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you do so, please subscribe to the YouTube channel or leave a comment or send me one question, and I will be extremely happy to answer, okay? Well, I hope you enjoy, and I will see you at the next video. Bye now.